So I'm going to talk to you today about our developing high-grade Hundy Gold District in southwestern Mongolia. Our standard forward-looking statements. So let me first provide you with a bit of an overview of the company and why we believe this is such a great investment opportunity. We're focused on one of the world's great unexplored gold belts, the Central Asian Orogenic Belt. We were first movers in here. We've been active here for over a decade. In fact, that picture on the top right is my first foray into Mongolia in the late 1990s. We have made multiple discoveries. We have district scale potential. We've taken an approach where we have a strategy of getting a first high grade, simple, high return open pit gold mine up and running. That's the Bayan Hyundai project. And that'll act as a foundation for us to leapfrog into greater expansion here in this district, which we've demonstrated great potential for with the new Dark Horse gold discovery, which I'll talk to you about in just a moment. We have a strong shareholder base. This past year, we've introduced Eric Sprott and the European Bank into our shareholder registry. We have a strong financial position. We have a long history in this country, as I mentioned, over 20 years for myself and many of our team members. We've created a strong social license to operate, and we have an exceptional team with experience across all disciplines necessary to take this to fruition. Mongolia. Mongolia is heavily dependent on mining. When you look at that chart on the right-hand side, foreign direct investment, 70% of foreign direct investment is attributed to mining. 88% of export earnings are related to mining. The country's centered between the largest gold producers in the world, China and Russia. The greater region produces about 24% of the world's gold. And you don't often think about it or hear about it, but you have a number of the world's largest gold producers active in this belt. You have Kinross, very dependent on gold in Russia. You have Rio Tinto now focused on one of the largest mining projects in the world at Oyu Tolgoi. You have Centerra active in Kyrgyzstan. You have a whole host of London-listed gold companies producing gold just across the country. So it really is a hotbed of gold production that often isn't the focus of the Western gold mining investor. This is an emerging mining region. You have 40,000 people working in the mining industry, largely in southern Mongolia. 97% of Oyu Tolgoi staff are Mongolians, and much of the country remains unexplored. You have a competitive regulatory regime with a flat tax rate of 25% and 5% NSR. And it is a growing democracy, low population density, and a 30-year history now of democratic elections. You also have a very well-educated young population with 98% literacy rate. So from our perspective, a great place to be doing business in the mining industry. This is a reflection of that growth that I just talked about. On the right, you get some of the imagery that's coming out of the South Gobi, multi-billion-dollar underground development, perhaps the largest copper gold mine being developed in the world today at Oyu Tolgoi. You have major coal mining deposits being developed, a host of moderate-sized hard rock gold mines being built in the country, and the infrastructure that's coming along with it, with road and rail and airports being built in the southern part of the country. Our projects, as you can see on the map here, are located in the southwestern part of the country, about 200 kilometers now northwest of a major border crossing into the Gobi Desert. All of this didn't exist 10 years ago, and certainly not when I arrived in the country. It truly was infrastructurally challenged and remote, but that has changed. You have a massive amount of infrastructure being built here to support the mining industry. As I mentioned at the outset, our focus is to form a foundation with the Bayan Hyundai Gold Project. This is a simple, high-grade, low-cost open pit project, and we quickly moved it from discovery through the various studies we needed to complete. Bankable was delivered last year, ESIA. We've now morphed into the construction readiness and detailed engineering. And now we see over the next 2 years moving through that final permitting, construction, and into commissioning of first gold in 2022. This is really what drives our excitement and drives the economics of Bayan Hyundai. This has exceptionally high grade, 3.7 gram average head grade for the Bayan Hyundai open pit. Puts us in the top decile of any of the global pre-production open pit gold mines. Looking at the initial pit itself, you can see on the bottom of this page a long section through that pit. That hosts about 400,000 ounces of proven and probable gold at 3.7 grams per ton. But you'll notice on the right-hand side here, that's within a resource of over 600,000 ounces that also averages over 3 grams per ton. This pit was designed in 2019 at a $1,350 gold price. That was our average base gold price. So much of that resource that you see sitting outside will eventually come into this pit. We're currently working with Tetra Tech to upgrade the resource based on drilling that took place in 2020, and we're very optimistic we'll see expansion here as that comes into fruition here in first quarter. This is a simple, conventional process facility. It's a carbon and leach 1,800 ton per day plant. We have a dry stack tails facility going into an integrated waste facility, but a small footprint using conventional processing. Some of the highlights: this initial mine will produce 65,000 ounces of gold per year on average over a 6-year mine life. We are going to hit over 75,000 ounces in year 2. And based on the opportunities we see around us for upside, we don't expect to be looking back from that 75,000 ounces. We have excess capacity in our plant. We have a low all-in sustaining cost of $733 an ounce and moderate capital at $59 million US. This is a relatively shallow open pit, just down to 144 meters with mineralization starting at surface. The mineralogy is very straightforward. It's largely an oxide deposit with recoveries that will be around 93%. We have a mine life, as I mentioned, of 6 years, but significant potential. I'll get into that in just a moment, but Dark Horse, as an example, provides so much upside for this district. And from this initial development, given the high grades and the high margin, we'll generate between $40 and $50 million US in net free cash flow annually at a gold price of between $1,600 and $1,800 an ounce. Looking at our sensitivity to gold price, NPV on the left, our base case using $1,400 gold established about a $100 million US NPV. You can see the sensitivity to gold price at $1,800 with a doubling of that net present value. And on the right, an already very strong IRR at 42% at the base case increases to 77% at $1,800 gold. So a very robust gold project at Bayan Khundii to form the base for our operations in this district. Our schedule today, we're focused on the permitting to proceed to construction. We'll work through that as we move through the first half of this year. Construction readiness and detailed engineering and expertising that detailed engineering from international standards into the Mongolian construction approval is all taking place as we speak. Simultaneous with that, we've signed a mandate letter with Export Development Canada to be the primary lender to the project, providing up to $55 million of the $59 million capex required. They've recently completed their site visits. Advisors were on site throughout much of January. That's now moving through final due diligence, with that expected to go in front of their credit board for approval late Q2. So that would position us to be shovel ready in Q3 and move into the early earthworks, camp establishment, and civil works before we hit the full-scale construction of the process and non-process infrastructure. I would caution that COVID is still a factor in our schedule. We won't commence full-scale production until we know that vaccine is being distributed widely in Mongolia, so that we can avoid the pitfalls of not being able to get professionals in and out of the country and or goods and services cross-border. The way Mongolia is headed today with the planned distribution of vaccine, we feel pretty good that we can hit stride in Q3 and maintain a schedule that gets us into first gold in mid-2022. So let me move on to the exploration side of our business. This area has exceptional discovery opportunities. I've been a geologist for 33 years and worked all over the globe, and I've never seen such great fertility that I've witnessed in Mongolia. And for a limited amount of exploration dollars and a limited amount of resources, we've made 3 discoveries. It's just a terrifically prospective area. These photos in front of you are some of the experts we've employed on site. Dr. Armel Oppenberg has done the structural work with us on the left, and Dr. Jeffrey Hedenquist with our VP of Exploration, Mike McDonald, on the right. We're employing the world's best to understand this district to uncover what you see in the center of this slide, which is up to 2,200 gram per ton intersections near surface. Truly an exciting new area. And the reason why we're excited from a high level is we're centered in one of the richest copper gold belts in the world. We're centered on an area called the Erdene terrain, which had previously seen no modern exploration. We discovered this new district from satellite imagery down to Boot and Hammer. But this district is bookended by some of the world's largest deposits. You have Morintel on the left, 140 million ounces of gold. You have Oyu-Tolgoi on the right, 62 million ounces of gold, and multiple 5 to 10 million plus ounce deposits. So it's very exciting as a geologist. We've done the work necessary to understand this district, and we're really just starting to get into the detail. We've carried out extensive work throughout the Erdene terrain, over 4 million hectares explored, 500,000 hectares of licenses. We have the largest proprietary geologic database in southwestern Mongolia. And already we've discovered 3 deposits and taken those to 43-101 level. We have 20 high priority targets identified throughout the district. And we're very good at taking shareholders' dollars and getting them into the ground. We have consistently been in the lower third of SG&A expenditures in our business. So let me take you into the district itself. We have 3 priority areas on 5 different licenses: Bayan Khundii in the south, Dark Horse 3.5 kilometers north, and Altan Nar to the north, which is 16 kilometers from Bayan Khundii. To give you a flavor of just what we're discovering out here, those 3 intersections you see on the left, those are all from the last 12 months and all in areas that were outside of currently understood resources. But we're seeing intersections of half an ounce over 23 meters at Altan Nar, 12 grams over 22 meters just in the last couple of months at a new discovery at Dark Horse, and 25 grams per ton over 15 meters within 15 meters of surface at Bayan Khundii. So it's just a reflection of what's out here in this district as we really just start to get into aggressive exploration. Now let me take you into this oval-shaped area that I have over the Dark Horse and Bayan Khundii area. This is an area that we've identified as a large intrusive-related high-temperature clay and silica alteration zone. Overprinted on that is the low sulfidation epithermal gold system, which we now understand to be occupying this north-south dilation zone or extensional setting, which we believe is host to multiple mineralized zones, most importantly Bayan Khundii in the south. But now 3.5 kilometers north, we've discovered the Dark Horse zone. That Dark Horse zone returned 45 meters of 6 grams per ton in drilling we just announced in the last month. We only have a few holes into this area over about a 700 meter strike length, but already we're seeing a broad zone of low-grade mineralization throughout this system. We've just completed a scout drilling program, 9 holes, which are the blue stars you see on this map, really to try to get our arms around what exactly we're dealing with here. And the results for that will be out in late March, at which time we'll be implementing a much more fulsome program to drill off in detail what we've discovered at Dark Horse. To look at that in section, to put it in perspective, 3.5 kilometers between Bayan Khundii and Dark Horse, where we've hit 6 grams per ton over 45 meters and much broader zones of low grade in the few holes we've drilled to date. But you'll see steady results coming out of that district in the near term. Altan Nar, 16 kilometers north, we have a number of deposits that we're currently working on in that 5.5 kilometer trend. But early stages here, we've already established 500,000 ounces of gold and byproduct silver, lead, and zinc. We'll get back up here later in the year. We currently have 1.1 million ounces of gold in inventory at just over 2 grams per ton. Our target is to reach 2 million ounces through exploration this year, largely with a focus on Dark Horse, updated Bayan Khundii, Altan Nar drilling later this year, to support a growth from the 60,000 ounces we're starting with to move this up into the 150,000 ounces as we move forward. We've been very active on the people and partners side. We've been 15 years working in Bayan Khundii province. We currently have a share price of 38 cents, which gives us an $80 million US market cap, about double what our projected cash flow would be at $1,600 gold. A strong shareholder base, as I mentioned, $9 million US in cash. We're well poised for a re-rating, looking at 0.4 times NAV and how other companies have re-rated as they moved from development to production. And just to sum things up here, We have a two-pronged strategy. We're developing a simple, high-grade, high-return open-pit gold mine targeting first gold in 2022, built on the backs of a strong team and with good financial support and social license. But we're doing this as a foundation to unlock what we believe to be a multi-million ounce gold district in the Hundy area. Catalyst coming up. We have the new Dark Horse results in mid-March. We'll move into a major drill program there in Q2, Q3. Resource update at Bayan Hyundai, and project debt financing and permitting by mid-2021, leading to construction and 18 months to first gold. So thank you very much.